everybody. I'm really excited to go live today. But before we get started, I just wanted you guys to check out one thing. I know this is really fun. Hi. So for anyone who's just joining my live streams, to start off with, y'all can comment in the either LinkedIn, YouTube, or X. You guys can comment and I will see your comments. I may not know where they're coming from, but I certainly will answer them if I see them. So drop in a hello, let me know you're here. And otherwise, we're going to go get started, but right after this. Hold on. Just want to show you one little thing so y'all know who I am. Hi. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about something that I saw. Actually, a few things. Everything that I do on my live streams is actually information or news that I'm reading out there on social media, or people are saying things that are inaccurate. So I want to always come online and make sure that there's a clear and concise understanding the differences between whatever they're talking about. And today's episode just happens to be about something I read where they said, talking about reporters and gaining relationships with reporters. And it was something I read on the news, I think. And then it was coupled with things that I saw on social media. So before I get started, I want you to know that mostly everything that I see out there is also tied into my book. So if you do not have my book, this is the greatest opportunity for you to get the paperback. There is ebook available and the audio version, but the reason why I suggest the paperback for One Yellow Brick is because it is full of marketing strategies that can help you build your business. But mostly a lot of the things that I write about, my blogs or my short video marketing vlogs, they're all taken out from my book, and then I elaborate on them. So if you have the paperback, you can certainly mark notes in the margins or follow the chapters when I go through some of the paragraphs. I don't talk about the entire chapter all at one time. There's not enough time in the day for that, but I certainly want to pick and choose things out of the book that would be beneficial to you. So the first chapter is really important because it is for everyone. And that is basically your name is your brand. Okay. And it kind of ties into how you build your branding presence online. But also you do that by establishing really great relationships with the people in your network. And that ties into the chapter that says, know your tribe. And in that chapter talks about all the different people that would be beneficial to you as an industry professional to meet. And sometimes they're not always just in your small circle. So for example, I'm going to talk about a little bit about commercial real estate. I'm always going to reference that. You see that different side, creator, commercial real estate. A lot of the information examples is towards commercial real estate, but this can be anyone in sales, anyone who's working with teams, a small business owner, or anyone who's just looking to elevate their business by building their brand and generating new leads because you become this expert in that industry. And this is how we do that. But one of the things that I saw was about building relationships with reporters and having those relationships with journalists. And a lot of you do not understand the difference because there is a big difference. And I wanted to talk about that today. So again, if you want to get the book, go to Amazon, Goodreads. My audiobook is on Audible and iTunes. And it's like on different book platforms as well. But, Amazon is easy to get to. So reporters. So for anyone out there who has worked with a reporter, then you know that there are very similar attributes. I'm a journalist, okay? I've made that very clear, I'm a journalist. But what the difference is really important for all you to understand, because the one common thing that we both have is journalism. So we are all writers in the sense that we are interviewing people for the story that we're writing for. But the difference is a reporter specifically has a job at a like a news anchor. If they're work for like the TV, the local TV news, like if I'm, News Channel 1, for example, and I'm, Melissa Swader reporting, on a specific beat, then you may hear that term, the specific beat, is because my beat might be commercial real estate, because that's what I write about. I specialize in writing on commercial real estate and really kind of all business and marketing trends, to be honest with you. There's no real like bubble for me. But for somebody who was a reporter for a news station or a media platform, such as any one of the business journals or one of your local, media companies in your specific area, they might be a reporter that is covering the commercial real estate, or they might be covering sports or politics or lifestyle, okay, health and fitness. Those are very specific topics that a reporter would be assigned to. And maybe some digital reporters have a little bit more flexibility on the stories that they can write under that beat, if you will. But if someone like me was a reporter for News Channel 1, I'm working with my producer, and those assignments are given to me. Hey, this is what's going on here. You got to go report on this. This is the story we're working on Friday. And then I go out and I have to interview. Or if I'm covering live coverage, then I go right out to the location, and I have my cameraman that's assigned to me. And, him and I, or her and I, we're out on the road and we're going right on location. And, Melissa, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on out there? Okay, well, here I am reporting live in front of, ABC building. And here's the news story, right? So, and then we have the journalist. But remember, they're working for News Channel 1. If I'm a digital reporter, then I'm working for that specific journal, that specific magazine, that specific media company. I'm not a reporter who's going to report on, my employer who I work for, and then it's not going to be printed over here on this media company. No, that's what a journalist does. So having those relationships with the reporters are really great. And I'm going to tie in the both of them here shortly. When you're working with a journalist, someone like me, and for those who may not know, I'm the president and CEO of Ruby Red Media. We are a top-ranking media marketing PR agency based in Arizona, based in Phoenix. But I work with a lot of industry professionals all over the country. So when you work with my agency, a journalist, someone like me, what I do is I work specifically with the people that when they contact me and they say, hey, Melissa, I have a really great story to tell, would you like to hear more about it? Someone like me would say, okay, if you can send me some of the details to your story, let me see if it ties into anything I'm working on, or see what our best strategic approach is. So do we send out a press release on that story? Or is it more of a byline? Is it more of a story that I would write on someone's news? Like maybe they're, raised $50 million for a new startup company. Okay, because that could serve as not only a press release, because that's breaking news. And you would want to work with the journalist or a PR agency to be able to do that. But remember, a reporter would cover that same story, but only for News Channel 1, only for that specific print media company or that magazine or any sort of publication that they're employed with, right? Working with the journalist gives me the free rein in a much broader range where I can take your news story, work together to write a compelling story, an article that includes not just facts, because all of my work is all factual. I verify everything. I record everything. I transcribe verbatim sometimes, so I make sure I get the quote right. Someone as a journalist, I'll send out a Q&A to the people that are contributing any of those facts or any of the statements on the topic that we're writing about. So say like it is a groundbreaking ceremony for a $30 million mixed use development that's coming to the Southeast Valley, for example. Well, imagine how many people are involved in that project. So as a writer, as a journalist, I'm able to reach out to all these different people who are involved and get a nice statement from them to build the value of that press release or of that story that I'm writing on. And then what happens when I take that information, because I've leveraged all of these relationships as an agency owner, as an editor myself, as an author, as a writer, I've established these relationships with those media affiliations. So I work with some of these reporters. I work with all of the different Business Journal, the news station, ABC Magazine over here, ABC Journal over here, the Something Independent over here, the media group over here. We're talking hundreds of media companies out there that I'm writing for you. So imagine you have this news story, you reach out to me as an agency owner, as a journalist, and I already have established all of these media relationships, then I'm able to write this compelling story for you. Now I distribute to hundreds, depending on what the story is, right? Because we have many different lists that I've customized over the years. So I'm not just paying for random media companies or media lists. I'm actually taking the information that I've collected over the years, journalists, other journalists that I've worked with over the years, reporters that I've worked with, news stations. If I feel like your story is worth the news, I will personally reach out to a reporter or the news producer and say, I've got a storyline that you have to jump on. I'm reaching out to you exclusively. You guys can cover this first. If they pass on it, that's their choice, but also sometimes their loss, because what happens is I go to the next one. And if the next one picks it up, which has happened in the past, by the way, they're like, oh, Melissa, I should have jumped on it. It became one of our biggest stories. I'm like, of course it does, because I've been doing this for a long time. So I know the priority and I know what editors are looking for when you are thinking about launching a big news release or writing a story on something very specific to your business. And so here I am as a journalist, and I spread out your information to all over to these different media companies. So I have like examples. Sorry. I have these examples. So say like I'm writing on employment growth, population expansion, fuels development in Arizona. Okay. Well, there's one. And, here I'm writing, a story, and maybe I send out, for example, I might send out a press release for something with you, about you. And then sometimes the editors, they like to write their own story based on the information I've already provided. So sometimes the business journals all over in all of the markets, the reporters might take my information, but they want to reach out to my clients or, the people I'm writing on behalf of. They want to reach out first. And what they do is they write their own information, get their own quotes, but because of one press release, now we've got the press release that's out there on theirs. Now we have an original one, say, for example, like the Phoenix Business Journal, which has happened many of times. And I mean, the list goes on. I mean, I just pulled a bunch of different magazines, and I have like just a stack of magazines where my work is published in, and or my clients are contributors in. And that again has to go down to the conversation earlier about the relationships that you establish with just not reporters for one specific beat on one specific platform, but reach out to these journalists, to the people that you see writing the stories, people who say, I cover this, I cover this, I cover business, I cover marketing trends, I cover, commercial real estate, I cover economic development, which I'm in the middle of working on something right now. And it's not just to one person. I'm going to send this out to everyone. And then whoever can validate and respect the story or feel like it's newsworthy information, all of these different media companies are going to publish on theirs, because you know what? Not only is it a great news story, but it's also about the people that write and have the readership to those stories. For example, if I remember, this was like years ago, I was at an event for one of the media companies out here in Phoenix. Oh God, I don't know, maybe like 6 years ago, maybe even longer. Oops, I can't remember. But I remember the editor coming up to me and saying, "You're the top story. You've been the top story in readership for the last couple weeks." And I had put that out there like a few weeks prior to that. So as a journalist, it's nice to know that your stories are getting the readership from major media companies. So do not sell yourself short when you're establishing these relationships with reporters, but also your independent agency journalists or independent journalists who are writing for multiple publications. So if you want to hook up and connect with these people, get on your X platforms and just type in media, type in journalists, hashtag journalists. Find your target audience in your market. For example, my master lists are really divided by state and by demographics. So if you hire me for, let's just say, Indiana, and you're in a very specific area of Indiana, well, I'm not going to send it to any other reporters or any other news media platforms unless they're specific to your market, right? But this allows me as a agency, as a PR agency, as a journalist, to establish those relationships. So imagine that times 25 years in my agency doing this, for writing for especially the commercial real estate for maybe the last 10 years, if not longer. So remember your circles. They don't just include the people directly in your business, like commercial real estate. Well, my circles are not going to be just marketing professionals and commercial real estate. My circles are all the people working within the commercial real estate industry, not just the brokers, but I'm working with the lenders, the companies that are a benefit to these industries, like 1031, CPAs, you know, your escrow, your title companies. I'm working with everyone. And if I can pull in different contributors to the stories about you and your company, then it's going to benefit you, the person that wants to share their news. So please understand the difference between the reporter, very specific to one company. A journalist is for many different companies. They're writing for USA Today, Yahoo Finance, you know, the Wall Street Journal. You know, I can go on and on. I'm just trying to think of all the people in my list that I send information out to. So your job, and I will just highly recommend that you do this on your spare time. And I know there's no such thing as spare time in commercial real estate, but if you just take a little bit of time during, you know, your week, maybe just designate an hour to researching different types of journalists in your area, or maybe on a national level. You know, if it's big news and you want it all over, well then, you know, research on a more national level. It's a little difficult for direct commercial real estate advisors to forge those relationships with reporters unless you have an inside connection. Because imagine how many times they get approached on a weekly basis. The same thing for me. With that being said, Ruby Red Media does accept press releases. So if you do have a press release, make sure you send them to me directly, because if they fit into the kind of the topics that I might want to, you know, highlight during that week or during that month, then you certainly would be found on my website in here. And I'll tell you, there are very different types of press releases I do. So for example, you know, I might write on, and I just wanted to show you, for example, like, you know, expansion or a nonprofit organization. Here's a development story that I wrote last year. I just pulled, now this was Centennial Promotes Michael Platt. This was all that was PR submissions that one was a PR submission to me. But I read through it and I thought, well, this is really great information. So of course I'm going to put that on our website. So if you have any news that you want to share as well, please make sure you send it to Ruby Red Media. And I will drop the link in later. But for now, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I go live streaming on different platforms. So today I'm live streaming. If you're on X, hello, y'all. If you're on LinkedIn, hi. And of course, if you're on YouTube, I love for you guys to subscribe. People always think if they subscribe to YouTube that you're going to be bombarded with like messages. You're not. All you do is just get notified that I'm dropping a new post. Maybe I'm scheduling out something, another live stream like I did, yesterday. I think I dropped something about today. And then when I do go live or there's a new video that gets uploaded, it just lets you know that there's something new online that you can watch. And my YouTube channel is full of marketing tips and branding tips to how to build your online visibility. So check out my playlists, right here, Melissa Swader, AZ, and go through my playlist and see if there's any content that you might need help on today. It's anything from social media to branding to writing to your videos to marketing. And of course, if you are just getting into the confidence of getting on social media, I have an Amazon store, which I announced the other day or yesterday. Melissa Swader, this is my YouTube channel. I wanted to show you what my YouTube channel looks like. And my Amazon store is just for finding anything like ring lights, stands, the other way, ring lights, stands, tripods, cameras, selfie sticks. Oh, I have a selfie stick right there. There's one. But I have so many, I can't even tell you. But the same type of products that I'm using to create like my ring lights behind me, my webcams behind, on my laptop right now, all the products, some of the products that I have on my store on Amazon, it's amazon.com/shop/Melissa Swader AZ. Melissa Swader AZ is my handle for mostly everything, to be honest with you. So you can go to my store and check that out. And I'm going to see if I have a little clip of that. I don't know if I have a little clip of my, because I didn't really want to talk about that today. But if you have any questions following the live stream, please let me know. I always like to hear your feedback on this. And of course, if you need help with any of your marketing strategies, your branding strategies, please let me know. I'm always here to help you. Always here to help you. I'm on almost every social media platform that you can think of, at least that I have time for. I do have a TikTok handle, and I still have yet to post one TikTok video, but maybe one of these days. So again, I want you to check out this really quick, just so you know my information, rubyredmediallc.com. And if you want more information, I'm going to do that again. My professional resume, melissaswader.com. You can see a lot of information on there as well. So be sure to check it out. And thank you guys for tuning in. And I hope now you know the difference between reporters and the beat and journalists who have the broad range of media platforms and leveraging those relationships with other editors and other reporters to help get your news out there on more platforms and not just on one platform. And don't forget, I too work with reporters and the news stations for my clients to make sure you are getting the best exposure you can for your news. So I will leave like one final thought. If you are running any events, any broker events, any silver shovel, groundbreaking events, ribbon cutting, grand opening, soft opening, anything that would warrant any PR. If you're hosting events that are bringing commercial real estate together, like different organizations, they have events like, even economic development, like this certain economic development teams. They'll throw like an infill or redevelopment forum or national forum or something of some sort. I think really honestly, the events are endless because I can just name 1,000 of them. But if you are hosting an event, invite your media for free. Do not charge a media affiliation of any sort, a reporter, journalist. If you want the extra publicity and the extra PR, you invite those media professionals for free. You put them on a press pass. You let them come in and write them and put their cameras up there and their stands over here, cover your event, and you'll have more of an ROI than you would having them pay to enter to write on your event. No media affiliation, at least anyone that I know, would go to an event that they would have to pay for when they're the ones covering the event. It makes no sense. So invite your media professionals, reporters, news, journalists, invite them all for free. If you have any other costs associated with them attending, then reach out to sponsors specifically to sponsor the media. And imagine what the media would do in return for that one sponsor who sponsored the media to go. I can imagine, I bet you that one person who threw out the sponsorship money for the media, they're probably going to get the most PR. I'm just saying, an inside tip for someone who's in the media. So anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed this live stream today. If you have any questions, please let me know. And don't forget, y'all, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel right here, Melissa Swader, AZ. And that is also my Instagram, Melissa Swader, AZ, and my Facebook, Melissa Swader, AZ. Not too hard, right? So I will talk to you soon, y'all. Okay, have a great one. Bye.